Hello guys, it's me.
Hello guys, it's me, Coolmat69.
You already know who I am, just ask me questions.
Okay.
Hello, it's me. And this is him.
Yo, it's me, this is him. We are coming out of a tough loss, but we're here to answer some of your questions today, right now, me and him.
Okay, so the first question is, how important is momentum over the course of a match?
I think momentum is actually really, really important for most teams. I think that there are teams that are capable of kind of ignoring it, which is a really good thing. I think it's something that we are as a team are pretty good at doing ourselves, and where that's why we have such a high map differential and why we're able to stay so level-headed in those 4th and 5th maps for the most part.
Yeah, momentum's pretty important because it's really a mental game. It's how well you play is how you're feeling and how you're working together. It improves your teamwork. So taking a win really improves morale, and then you play better. So momentum is very important.
All right, the next question is, do you guys feel like a tough loss like this ultimately makes your team stronger?
Losses always make your team stronger. There's always something to learn. No one's perfect, and you're always going to keep improving. When you lose really drastically, then it's actually a pretty decent opportunity to kind of reevaluate what you did and maybe start over on a clean slate. But I think losses are always a catalyst for growth.
I think also this is the first time the Outlaws have ever been 4-0'd, and I think that while we've lost and reverse sweeps are tough and we've lost like that, we've never been 4-0'd, and I think that's something very significant in of itself. And I think that there's so much you can learn from that, and I know that we're going to this is just going to push us even harder to make sure that this never happens again, because I mean, yeah, getting reverse swept sucks, but there's nothing quite like getting 4-0'd.
All right, the next question is a little more lighthearted. Which Outlaws teammate would you choose as your partner in surviving a zombie apocalypse, and why?
Boink, because he's Boink, and I feel like we've covered the whole Boink situation plenty of times. He's easily the most responsible and prepared for stuff, so Boink all day.
I'd go with Mindo, just because if I was in a zombie apocalypse, I'd want to die, and I'd rather die with Mindo.
Oh my god.
Take him down with me. All right, what question do you guys get asked way too often?
What condition? How to improve.
Tips.
It's tips. It's
tips?
It's very abstract, and it's there's a lot of stuff that goes into the answers because the game's so dynamic, and it's really hard to give a fundamental tip.
It's just the general hey, any tips to improve? It's if you give me a really general question, I'm gonna give you a really general answer, and that answer is practice. If you want tips, you practice. It's too vague, and it happens all the time.
All right, the next question is, who is your guys' favorite caster?
Favorite caster is Uber. I like the way that he narrates the flow of the fight. I think he does that really well. He's also really good at building hype and working off that.
I agree. Uber is definitely my favorite caster. Uber and Mr. X are they're very good together. Shout out to ZP as well. ZP owns.
Classic. Vintage ZP.
All right, the next question is, what's your guys' game plan moving forward, looking into the next week against Valiant and Mayhem?
For us, it's really about looking at these losses and seeing what we can improve on, and then see if we can develop anything new from that, and research their play styles and prepare as hard as we can. We're going to take a little bit of time off to reset and then start over.
Yeah, I think that mental reset is really what's going to be the most important. Sometimes people would think that after you getting 4-0'd or you lose a week this rough, you're gonna oh, this team's gonna really buckle down and grind more and play more scrims, and I think it's really the opposite. I think it comes down to resetting and remembering how dominant our team has been in the past, and what we're actually capable of when we're playing at our best, and I think that's what it's going to come down to.
Hey, this is Jake and Boink from the Houston Outlaws. We're here to answer the rest of the questions for the press conference.
After a tough loss like this, what are you guys going to do to bounce back?
Well, first step is always to take some time off. I think getting out of Overwatch for a little bit, resetting mentally, not be sad about the loss anymore, is the first important step to going forward. I think after that, we'll prepare, we'll see what went wrong, see what we can do to fix it, see if we want to change anything else at all, and then just take it one step at a time.
Yeah, Boink got it. I mean, it's just all about step-by-step process. Like the first thing we're gonna do, like you said, take a little bit, of a step back, and then reapproach the game, learn, all the lessons we can from the series we lost this week. I think there's a lot there. There's a lot of things we could improve. There's a lot of things, like the mistakes that we made that caused us to lose those close games. We're gonna go back, review, and then analyze that, deeply, figure out where our problems lie, and try and root them out.
The next question is, do the mistakes that you guys made in match seem obvious after the fact?
Some of them, yes. Like, obviously, if you make a judgment call and it doesn't go right, you're going to know where that was. I think sometimes the big picture things can be a little bit hit or miss. Sometimes it's really obvious. Like, sometimes right when you start playing that you should have done this from the very start. And I don't know. Sometimes it is, sometimes it isn't. You just have to see what is, what isn't, and address that.
A lot of times, you remember, oh my God, I can't believe I did that. Especially like a few points in the match, you're like, oh man, that was just a huge error. But a lot of times it's more, difficult to figure out because it's not always like a direct mistake that you made. Sometimes it's like a huge play by the enemy team, and sometimes it's just wrong to try and change something just because it didn't work. Like, there could be reasons that it failed that weren't related to your individual play. So part of the difficulty of being a team and improving together is saying where were the real problems, like where are the deep causes of our defeat, and how do we really attack those directly.
And then kind of related to that, are there ever times when in match you guys make decisions that are just because it's the heat of the moment that you wouldn't make normally in scrims?
Of course. I feel like every single person has experienced one or two of those in their career. There's no getting rid of that. Like, you want to win so badly on stage that you're more willing to do stuff that's risky in order to get that victory. So it just happens.
And there's always an adjustment for matches and scrims and everything. Like it's just a different environment. Part of like what we need to work on, I think, is reducing that gap and having more consistent play, focusing on our strats. And then just sort of executing our pre-planned strategies. And then sort of also, the process of what are the right strategies. That's like a whole nother can of worms.
Yeah.
Of, what should we be doing? And then actually going out there and doing it. There's a lot of steps in the process. So I think for us, it's going to be refocusing on that step-by-step approach.
All right, this one is a little bit more lighthearted. What is your guys' favorite meme?
I don't know if I have a favorite meme.
There are a couple of good ones, but I mean, J Lulk is pretty good. I'm sitting next to a living meme right here.
Someone actually had a sign, had a J Lulk.
Yeah.
The meme has transcended the internet, is now in real life.
Matt's hair is a close runner-up.
Yeah.
The very big Matt's hair picture.
The Matt's extended hair.
Juicer meme?
The juicer meme.
The juicer meme is that might be the best.
Strong meme.
That actually might be the
best. One of the most powerful memes.
It is definitely the powerful.
Is the juicer meme something you guys can share to the public, or is that an in-team meme?
I don't even know how did it start?
I don't know how to explain it.
I don't know how to explain it either.
When somebody spills something, when somebody, oh my, the juicer, you're the juicer.
You're the juicer.
Yeah, you gotta call people out when you know they're juicing.
Exactly.
Okay, so this is similar to the last question I asked Muma and Coolmat, but what are your guys' game plan and just thoughts in general moving into next week against Valiant and Mayhem?
Take it one step at a time, address the basics, see what went wrong.
Play our game,
Exactly.
Like not over focus on what are they gonna do, how are we gonna counter it, like what's our strategy, how are we gonna force our game plan on the match, how are we gonna take control. Those are like the big questions for us, I think, is focusing on our own strategy, our own game plan. And then sort of just minor tailoring and tweaking for the two teams we're about to play.
Yeah, and maybe use it as to what to expect rather than how are we going to counter it.
Exactly.
Just sort of be ready for it rather than try to counter it. This is Boink and Jake finishing out the Houston press conference. Thanks for watching. We'll see you guys next time.